first started hearing about these fat jabs, Wegovy, and various other different brand names where you could actually get a hold of these things. It was celebrities first in America who seemed to be making use of them the most, and basically losing loads and loads of weight, and nobody was quite sure whether they were admitting to it or not. Sharon Osbourne's talked about it in the past and said that actually she took Wegovy and she lost so much weight that she felt as though she was too skinny. And a lot of people now in Hollywood are saying some people, and I think John Goodman's one of them, and the other brand name, of course, is Ozempic, have been losing so much weight that their facial structure has kind of altered altogether so much that they've had to have reconstructive surgery to make their face look like it used to. Let's talk to Dr. Renee Hundekamp, NHS GP and broadcaster. Renee, very good morning to you. Welcome.
Morning, Mike.
Nice. How are you? No, I'm very well. Nice to see you. I mean, this thing now has taken on sort of miraculous proportions. We're now sort of being told this morning, thanks to a study by University College London, that not only will these drugs help you lose weight, but they'll actually safeguard your heart. They might help you not have a stroke. They might even be good for cancer. I mean, it all sounds a bit too good to be true, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is, Mike. You know, looking at the papers today, you can always guarantee that if there's a story on every single front page, then it's been placed, and you have to ask who's placed it. Yeah. Now, this is a study that was first published, interestingly, in November 23, and there was no fanfare about it at all. But suddenly today, the PR people are out, and it's on every front cover. You've got to ask yourself why, and I suspect it's because people like me are talking about the very serious side effects of using this drug just for weight loss. Now, looking at the study, and I haven't had a lot of time this morning, Mike, but I can see straight away that it's funded by Novo Nordisk. All of the researchers are funded by Novo Nordisk. Right. They looked at 3 years and 4 months, and they found over that time that 6.5% of the placebo arm of people either died, had a non-fatal stroke or a heart attack. And sorry, the other way around, 8.2%, but in the semaglutide arm, only 6.5% of people suffered those. But interestingly, 16.6% of people pulled out of the trial in the treatment arm because the side effects were too bad, and they don't tell us what they were. And only 8%, would you believe, in the placebo arm also pulled out for adverse events. We are at the end of the study, the researchers were asked, would they share their data? And they said no. Right.
So it's a fascinating. Let me just stop you there for a second, Renee. We're going to just fix your audio there for a minute. I've got this from Close, who says, I was put on Ozempic a few years ago for my diabetes, was taken off because of availability as it was being used for weight loss. The health service in the UK isn't fit for purpose. Awesome show as always, Mike. Can't call us, can't speak due to a medical condition. Well, listen, I appreciate your message. I mean, the problem for me is that this Ozempic Wegovy scenario has sort of been sold as if it's some kind of miracle drug, right? It was initially started off as a diabetes treatment and a treatment for people who suffered from diabetes. It has now become a weight loss drug and something that people take a jab for. I was actually told by somebody the other day, a doctor no less, that there are places where you can go. For example, I think in the United States of America, you check into a hotel and, you know, you open the fridge and it's got those sort of what you might call modern accoutrements. They haven't just got, you know, drinks. They've also got, you know, things like bags of nuts. They've got chocolate. They've got condoms. They've also got sometimes Ozempic, if you just in case you decide you want to inject yourself with the weight loss drug, which seems extraordinary, doesn't it? Because surely people should not be able to access it as easily as that. We were told initially that you would only be able to get it if a doctor diagnosed that you were obese enough to be given it. We're told constantly that there are more obese people in this country than there should be, and that one of the reasons that we can't get enough people back to work is because they're off work, off sick, because of the fact that they're obese. And so, but now, as we're just hearing from Dr. Renee there, we're now being told that not only is it good for losing weight, but it's also now good for fighting heart attack and stroke, and it's cardiologists who are saying so. Professor Deanfield, John Deanfield of the University College London, who did the study, told the European Congress on Obesity, in the 90s when statins came in, we finally figured out that there was a class of drugs that would change the biology of this disease. Dr. Renee has been saying, yeah, well, be careful exactly what you believe on all of these stories, because there may well be something other than just the news which is going on. I think we've got Dr. Renee back. Renee, sorry about that. We were having trouble hearing exactly what you were saying. what I wanted to say to you was some of these side effects which don't get talked about a lot. I mentioned the Hollywood stars who have sort of got faces that have almost kind of collapsed in on themselves because they've lost so much weight. I'm also told that there's bad breath is one of the side effects, which is maybe not that serious, but it's one, and a sort of loss of libido as well, right?
Yeah, there's so many, Mike, that are not being spoken about. So all of those things that you've just said, hair loss, which for women and men, I'm sure, but mainly women, is devastating.
Yes.
But there's serious ones too, Mike. There's quite a reasonable risk of pancreatitis. Now, when you get pancreatitis, you have an increased risk for about 3 years of getting pancreatic cancer. No mistake, pancreatic kills you, and it kills you quickly. These are serious side effects. And what worries me is that we have the media colluding with Big Pharma to actually send people running to their doctor for yet another medication to cure something which actually can be cured by lifestyle changes, as hard as it is. And also, it's going to bankrupt health services around the world. Consider, Mike, we had a report yesterday where we've got 2,500 midwife vacancies. Mothers are getting birth trauma and babies are dying, and yet we're going to pump our NHS money into helping people who are overweight not be.
Yeah, it seems mad, doesn't it? Because more or less you read these stories and it's like, just give it to everyone, because it's going to be of benefit to everyone, whether you've got heart conditions, whether you've got overweight problems, you know. But generally speaking, this is the elixir we've all been looking for. It's as exciting as when we found statins and what they could do for your heart. This is a game changer, I think, is the quote they use. But as I say, I'm very sort of reluctant to even look at taking something like that, because I don't think it's been around for long enough to even know what the long-term effects of it would be.
Exactly. So interestingly, Ozempic isn't even licensed for weight loss. Wegovy is. It's been around in terms of data for about 3 years. So we have no long-term data. It is interfering with things that go on in your brain, because that's how it makes you believe that you're not so hungry. You cannot come off it. If you come off it, you put the weight back on because your appetite comes roaring back. So this is a drug that people are going to be on for life. Now, all of the people in these studies were already overweight and obese when they started the studies. If, as a younger person, they had not eaten ultra-processed food, they'd eaten less of it, and they'd exercise a bit more, they wouldn't need this drug. We are medicalising everything, and the only people that are cheering are the drug companies.
Yes, I'm sure. And I'm sure the doctors who are sort of, you know, recommending that people should use it. So, I mean, as far as this reducing heart attack risk goes, I mean, it doesn't, even the figures that you read out to me, I mean, it's not massive, is it? The numbers of people who apparently were improved by it, again, you can't say somebody didn't die of a heart attack, therefore it was a success, because they might not have done anyway.
So interestingly, even this study is saying we don't really know what's going on. We don't really know how this is working. We need more studies. But, Mike, it's on every front page. I had an argument with a journalist yesterday who was saying, this is fantastic, it's a game changer. And I was like, you don't know that. Show me your data. He said, no, it's far better. It's far better than being obese. I said, show me that data. Prove it to me. And he can't, because journalists are busy. Some of them are also lazy, and they will take the PR line from, guess who? The drug company. We've got to stop this, Mike. We've got this weird world where the big food companies are influencing government to make people eat more bad food and get fat, and then the pharma companies are stepping in to save them.
Right. I know. It does seem completely and utterly bizarre, doesn't it? Well, Dr. Renee, great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Renee Hundekamp, NHS GP.